Welcome back. A recent Stanford University study demonstrates that charter schools nationwide outperform traditional public schools, which is paving the way for the next chapter in public education. Kipp NYC is a standout charter network offering rigorous academics, enriching co-curricular, top-tier arts and sports, and vital social emotional support. Here now is the principal of Kipp Freedom Middle School, Amanda Martinez. Amanda, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you for having me here.
So, let's get into it. Like you mentioned, you guys kind of started school already. New York City public schools start very soon, actually. So, Kipp New York City was founded in 1995 and has since grown significantly. So, can you provide an overview of the school's growth and the impact it's had on the students in New York City?
Yeah, so I am the proud principal of Kipp Freedom Middle School, which is one of 9 schools from Kipp NYC that are in the Bronx. And we're part of a larger network that has 18 schools in New York City, from Harlem to Brooklyn to the Bronx. And as Kipp as an organization, we have over 280 schools across the entire nation. So since its inception in 1994, we have grown significantly, and not only just grown in terms of what the amount of schools that we have, but also in our philosophy and like what is it that we need to do in order to truly revolutionize education.
That's amazing. And in the recent Stanford University study, it highlighted the outperformance of charter schools across the nation. So how do you see Kipp Freedom Middle School, how do you see that contributing to the study, and overall, what sets your school apart?
Yeah, so I don't need a lot to talk about how amazing our students are, but I think that it begins by, one, understanding the assets that our students already bring to the table. Oftentimes, in under-resourced neighborhoods and schools, we come in with a deficit mindset, and that's already setting such a low bar for our students. And instead, we set a really high bar because we know our kids are capable and have the potential in order to meet it. So at Kipp NYC or at Kipp Freedom Middle School, we just know that our kids are capable of so much. And how do we create the learning conditions for them to show us the brilliance that is already there? And I think that's really powerful about Kipp, in which there's a huge emphasis and mission on together with our families and our students, so that we are crafting the educational landscape together with the people that matter the most to us, which are our students and our families.
I think that's so important that you mentioned it. It's not only learning in the school, right? You're not only there the 6 hours a day that you're there, but it does continue when you go home, and it starts at home. That's what I was taught growing up is, your education starts at home. So I think really being able to work with the families is really vital. So thank you for sharing that. And, with that, one of the school's key strengths is its academic performance. So how do you ensure that your students consistently outperform in the city and the state on state exams, specifically in grades 3 through 8?
Yes, so at Kipp, in Kipp and Freedom Middle School and in Kipp in general, we have a deep understanding that in order to reach our kids' minds, we have to reach their heart. And for many of our students, just understanding that their basic needs for safety and love are met just unlocks so much potential for them. So in our academic day, before we get to any of the rigor of the classes, our kids are taking algebra and global history and all kinds of high school level courses in middle school. We make sure that we start our day with social and emotional learning and let kids know you are smart, you are brilliant, you belong. And once you know that, you can truly believe what you're capable of. And then we go into the rigorous academics for the day. And it really sets the tone for our kids that, it sets the tone and gives them the confidence that you are a learner, but before that, you're a human being. And we want to acknowledge that.
Once again, I think that is just so important for the students to have. A lot of times kids may walk into school with, baggage, maybe not having the best morning. So to kind of start the day on a clean slate and kind of being able to let everything go, I think is so important. And it's something that I know I didn't have in public school growing up, is we didn't kind of have that debrief in the morning. So I think it is really great to see that now it is being brought into the schools. And another thing that Kipp Freedom Middle School does is you guys have a diverse and engaging curriculum, including fine arts and, most importantly, financial literacy, which once again, so crucial. I needed to learn financial literacy when I was in middle school. I needed to. But with that, how does this holistic approach contribute to the development of well-rounded students?
Yeah, so when Kipp was founded, there was a focus on offering parents choice in terms of the education that their children have, and the beauty of choice is that it allows parents to design or craft the education that is most fitting for their child. In the recent years, we have shifted the choice to students, and we want to let them know that it's not just you getting to college, but how do we get you beyond that, and how do we truly set you up for a choice-filled future. And to do that, we have to offer kids a wide array of opportunities and talents and just classes in which they can truly discover their passions. So the unique thing about me as a principal is that I taught visual arts for 12 years. So for me, the arts are incredibly important because like it really taps into the cultural capital that students bring. So our kids have fine arts, you know, with a brilliant photographer, and they do financial literacy so that they truly understand how to build generational wealth. Our students have dance classes, and we have a mind-body course where kids are learning about not only like physical health, but also how do you build that mental resilience. And so it's really just bringing in opportunities for our students to just truly discover like what are the different paths that I can take so that I truly can take advantage of the future that awaits for me.
That's amazing. And so we've spoken about a rigorous curriculum, fine arts, a well-rounded curriculum, and social emotional debrief before the day even begins. But can you tell me a little bit about what does an average day in the life for a Kipp student look like?
Yes. So we've decided to structure our day around our 4 core values, which are love, choice, leadership, and achievement. So the typical day of a student, they're experiencing the values of the school and the fabric of their everyday. So they start off with a class called Love 101, where they're learning some key social emotional skills for interpersonal conflicts, you know, the things that happen in middle school. But they're also learning tools on how to navigate social media, which is so, you know, instrumental in them and how students communicate with each other. Then they shift their day into the achieve portion of the day, where they are taking classes from math and ELA and social studies, and the older grades are taking algebra, global history, and then we also offer extensions like coding and robotics and Model UN and speech and debate. And then in the last half of the afternoon, kids have their choice sessions. So they can opt into either visual arts or chess or financial literacy just based on their interests. And then we not only start the day with love, but we also end the day with love. So at the end of the day, they come back with their community and just talk about like what are some things that they're really proud of that they've accomplished in a school day. And then we send them off into the world and send them off back home feeling that confidence and that like, you know what, I felt successful in school today, which is so important for our students.
That's awesome. So, you know, with that, we spoke a little bit about some of the courses that you guys offer aside from your, you know, ELA, math, that whole thing. So we did speak about, you know, classes like dance. So can you tell me a little bit about how it contributes to the growth and self-expression of your students?
Yes, I mean, I think it begins by just redefining success for our kids. And as a visual arts teacher for many years, I saw that kids who may not have felt successful in what we consider to be the academic contents truly blossomed and flourished in their elective courses. And so in turn, that confidence from being, you know, showing their self-expression and being just creative human beings then in turn allows them to feel confident in their academic courses. And we work really closely with our social workers and our elective teachers and our content teachers to understand like what are the different areas in which our children truly shine. How do we illuminate that for them in order to build them up holistically?
And so, you know, let's talk a little bit about you and your journey as an educator. You did mention that you spent 12 years as a visual arts teacher. So can you just tell me a little bit about your journey and your commitment to the Bronx, the community in which you were born and raised?
Yeah, so this is a full circle moment for me because I'm actually a Lehman College graduate. Yes. So it feels very full circle to come back because this is where I found my passion for teaching arts. I had my bachelor's from arts history from the school. And then as an art educator, that's where I truly found my footing as a teacher, and I truly found my passion and love for education. But I found that what I had experienced in the classroom just wasn't enough. And how do I scale my impact and the amazing things that happen within the art studio into a whole school? And I decided to venture off and become a principal. And one thing that I tell my students is that I am a Bronx native. I am so proud to be from the Bronx, Bronx born, Bronx raised, Bronx educated. And so we start looking for our assets and the strengths of our neighborhood right here in our borough. So that's something that I just consistently bring into the school, that we don't have to go on a bus somewhere else to find the cool things. Like our borough is so rich with culture and history. And if we understand that, we know that, we learn to love where we live and just be very proud of our borough.
That's amazing. And as we wrap up, you know, we have less than a minute, but I do want to ask you, what is your message to the students this school year?
I can boil it down to 2 words, genius and joy. My message to our students is that, one, we are committed to finding your individual genius because we know that it exists in each and every one of you. And as educators, it is our responsibility to shine the light on it. And then 2, we want you to love school. And joy is so important, not only as an indicator of success, but also as a driver of achievement. And we want to make sure that in school, you, one, know your value, know who you are, know your place in the world and how you can make it a better place, but also understand that we can do all of that through joy and that we don't have to sacrifice that in order to feel accomplished or successful. So for my students, just know that, I am very committed to finding your genius and doing it through joy.
Principal Martinez, thank you so much for joining us, and we cannot wait, and we're wishing your kids all the best this school year.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
For more information, you can visit their website at kippnyc.org and call 718-841-6165. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more Open right after this.